Now, if we want to find the equation of the line, and we don't have a graph, and we don't have a table so we can look at the table and find out what the slope and the y-intercept is, then we got to be a little more mathematical, okay? And so this is a process that we will use. So basically you determine what the slope is. In this case, that we're given the slope. So we already know what the slope is. And then we want to take the information we have, the fact that it's crossing this particular point in this first problem, that would be 2, 5. So based upon what we're given, we know that the m here is 3/2. Okay, so we know that we have the slope times x, but we don't know the b number. And remember, when x is 0, y equals whatever that number is, the b number, the y-intercept. That's not 0, that's 2. And what people will do, because again, they react to what they hear or see, oh, y-intercept, well, that's a y. Okay, so that's 5. Just like that. Nah, that's not on the y-axis. If you plotted that point, and again, I'm using GeoGebra to assist to make this visual. So let me get rid of this. Clear all, don't save. All right, so again, what we have here is we have 2, 5. That's not on the y-axis. So if we put that point, zoom in here a little bit, 2, 5 would be right here. It's not on the y-axis. It's not the y-intercept. But we know our slope is 3/2. So if we were on the y-axis right here, we could go up 3 to the right 2 to get to that point. Oh, so it looks like 2 is the y-intercept. And so we can already see that using the GeoGebra. But let's go ahead and do this mathematically. Let's find out that what b is by being mathematical. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to replace the x and y with these numbers. That's going to be x and that's going to be y. And then we'll just solve the resultant equation for b. All right, so I'm going to replace the y with 5 and the x with 2. Okay, now that's a fraction, so I'm putting 2/1. So again, this can be an issue if you someone that goofs up with fractions a little bit, right? So that's why we keep doing this. Notice the 2's cross cancel. You could also do 6 divided by 2, which is 3. Okay, okay, the y-intercept is 2, right? We already saw that on the GeoGebra. Here we're getting the same result mathematically. All right, so b is 2. Now we can write the complete slope-intercept form. Now we can write the complete rule. So the rule would be 3/2x plus 2. And now we're done. That's the goal. Okay. Now you can try to do the other one on your own as I pause for a moment, and then I'll go over that, and then we'll finish up with if we have to find the slope first. Okay, so if we looked at the next one, we got the slope now 2/3. And now 1 point that we're given on the line is 3/3. 3 over, that's, what am I talking about? 3 comma 5. All right. So we're given the slope and we're given 1 point on the line. That's what we're given. All right. So we know what the m is. The slope, the 2/3 is what's going to be multiplied to x. Okay. So we know that much. Now, again, right here, that is a y value of 5, but that occurs when x is 3, not when x is 0. Right? So that's not on the y-axis. All right, so again, just using GeoGebra to make this a little more visual. Right? So if you put that point 3,5 here, 3,5, that's not the y-intercept. But we know the slope is 2 over 3. So if we rose 2 and went right 3, we could start here, go up 2, right 3. All right, so that's helpful. GeoGebra can help you with that. And since the y-intercept is 3, it's an integer, this is possible. All right, so that's one way to think about it. But let's do this mathematically. All right, so what is b? Where is the point on the y-axis? What's the number that we're going to replace with the b here? Well, let's go ahead and get the x and y that we have, substitute for y and x, and then solve the equation for the b. So I'm going to replace the y with 5 and the x with 3. Okay, and again, notice because 3 is a multiple of 3, that simplifies, and we'll get a nice friendly whole number. All right, so this is what we get. And so now b has to be 3, right? We already called that on the GeoGebra. Here we're getting it mathematically. All right, so now we can write the complete rule. So now we can go ahead and say, okay, this rule would be 2/3 x plus 3. And again, I'm just pausing. And now we're going to finish up with the last thing. Now in these problems, we were given the slope. So we already knew how to start up the slope-intercept form, how to start the rule that equals y. We just didn't know the other number, the number we call b, the y-intercept. So we took the x and y values we had, we replaced them in the y and x in this equation and solved for b.